well. But a nice drop here, denying the base of SlayerS.KDY. And got to pick off a couple of infestors as well. I'm still worried about this drone count. 101 drones. It's going to eat up so much of his army supply.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see a ton of these Marines just getting elevated down to the next base. He's just trying to do as much damage as possible, move from base to base. I mean, at this point, Spider does have his fourth. He does have that planetary fortress, but he needs to keep his opponent off of as many bases as possible so that he can't just overrun him.
Yeah, I mean, this is turning out to be a very late macro game, and the question is, can SpiderDS respond to these Ultralisks and to these Infestors? I mean, he doesn't have the tech out to deal with this, and it's not on the way either.
No, Greater Spire is on the way, though, which means that Broodlords will be coming out sometime soon. We see 6 Corruptors on the way, and those are going to be extremely effective. Not only is the Corruptors going to be able to take out Medivacs before they turn into Broodlords, but once they do, those tanks are going to be nearly useless unless Marines can find a way to stim under and kill all of those units.
We do have some Vikings on the way, however, 2 being produced right now, 2 at a time. And if he gets out enough, he could, make those Broodlords null and void, and if he's able to do so, could possibly swing things back into his favor. But he still has these Infestors, these Banelings, and these Ultralisks to deal with. Quite the spread of unit types from SlayerS.KDY, making it very difficult for SpiderDS.
Now, a ton of Banelings were just more, and it looks like KDY is ramping up to get some serious aggression. He's he's maxed out right now, so unless he starts building spine crawlers, he needs to go for a big attack so that he can resupply with Corruptors, more Broodlords. But
in
the meantime, SpiderDS, going for that drop on the west side of the map.
And yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this worker count a couple times, but he's still at 98 drones. He really needs to make some spine crawlers. It's 10 to 15 too many drones. And it's eating into the army supply, and we can tell that as he's at max food, and his army's not that huge.
At the same time, another drop going on in the main, just dropping a ton of Marines and Marauders up in there, so this multi-pronged aggression. Meanwhile, even more Marines walking onto that creep to pull all the units out of position. That creep up in the back of the base did get cleaned up. Right now he's going straight for that spawning pool. Transfuse is going down, trying to keep it alive, but it does not get kept alive. Marines are still in the base, alive and well, and everything's going to get pulled back from KDY to try to defend against this.
He will be able to defend, however, and he's not able to pick up too many of those units either, although the Medivacs I would expect to make it out alive, though he's not microing them quite yet. And still no additional bases going down for SpiderDS, although he's trying now. He's going to find a Ling blocking that, but that shouldn't be too difficult to take care of. And SpiderDS almost up to the appropriate worker count, sitting at 64 SCVs right now, and SlayerS.KDY still overdroned.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be scary. The fact that he doesn't have that full army supply that he really wants. But look at KDY just trying to maintain that as much of that creep spread as possible. He is absolutely relentless with it. Right now, his creep is actually touching his opponent's natural. We see a huge drop going around the north side of this map, and even more Medivacs on the way. I believe an Overlord's going to spot the edges of that.
Yes, he may have seen that. Will he respond appropriately? That is the question. This drop coming down towards the 5th base. I don't see anything there to respond quite yet. Instead, he's pushing towards the front of SpiderDS's base, and I'm not sure SpiderDS has an answer. This planetary fortress will likely fall. Yes, Baneling's taking it down. It's already dead. In the meantime, the drop is unloading down in the southwestern corner. He's going to stim forward, take out this extractor first, and then go for the spine crawler and the hatch. This hatch will also likely fall. This is a bit of a base trade, though. I expect it will not end in that manner quite yet. Broodlord is coming in.
Yeah, the Broodlords are on the way. 8 more Corruptors on the way as well. These Ultralisks are getting pushed back by a ton of stim units, and these Medivacs will get out there. 2 of them full. But and he was able to take out that base, which is really nice. The thing is, Terran players can't quite trade bases quite effectively. Each base that he takes is so important to keeping that economy running, as opposed to a Zerg player who's going to expand everywhere, and it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Now, I really like.
Go ahead. That's all you.
I was going to say that I really like what SpiderDS is doing, dropping on this island over here to heal up, making sure that all of his units are healed before he moves in for a second drop.
Now, it should be interesting to see if this game gets to a state where these islands are actually taken as bases. I mean, we're at almost 30 minutes right now. You usually don't get to this point, even on a huge map like this. So really interesting to see which bases are chosen. And in fact, we see SlayerS.KDY having such map control, he's able to take that middle right map.
I'm actually interested in the fact that KDY doesn't have more macro hatches. He is throwing down a couple more bases. I stand corrected. He is throwing a couple more bases down. He has that one over on the right corner. Ooh, a ton of units getting caught, just undefended. Corruptors taking out those Medivacs and Vikings without any trouble, and Ultralisks moving across the field. But you know, two Vikings trying to get the outskirts of the map on the right side, but here comes the Ultralisk once again, but they don't really want to engage in that tank line quite yet.
Right. I mean, SlayerS.KDY still has the issue of a relatively small army supply due to that drone count, 91 drones. I don't know.
Here we have this drop moving back in. Those units did get healed up, and a drop going back into that left side base. So just an absolute slugfest coming out from these players. They will be able to take out a lot of these drones, but Baneling's moving in. Wonderful splitting, actually trading fairly cost effectively for those Banelings. The thing is, cost effective doesn't mean much right now to KDY because he is sitting on a bank of 7,000 minerals and 3,800 gas. So
can I just say that 67 SCVs have been killed by KDY and 27 by SpiderDS.
Unbelievable.
Huge, 67 kills, that's huge, and he's still at 53 SCVs total. SlayerS.KDY finally down to 75. He's going to be able to morph in these Broodlords and have an appropriate sized army.
Yeah, he's going to have 17 Broodlords altogether once those are morphed in. I mean, you have to be careful though. I mean, if he's over-droning already, and he almost completely supplies them Broodlords, that's going to be a really scary position.
He only
has have any support for them.
He only has one Corruptor left, and there are tons of Vikings. And he does have 5 Infestors to deal with those Vikings, but will that be enough? I'm not sure. If they're spread properly, certainly not. So it could be a bit of a blunder there, not keeping enough Corruptors to defend his Broodlords.
Yeah, and Spider needs to at least, I mean, even if he turtles up right now, I don't know how long he's going to be able to do that for. I guess he's going to have 2 mining bases, really, when it comes down to it at this point, and he's not really going to be able to expand anywhere. Meanwhile, a drop on the main of KDY, just coming in, he's able to do a little bit of damage. KDY is now at 203 supply of 200, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. The rest of this will get cleaned up. I hit a drop on that right side base as well, taking that out, and absolutely relentless. Another drop moving over the top portion of the map.
Right, and is SlayerS.KDY able to have the multitasking to see all these drops coming in on the minimap, to see the awareness? I'm not quite sure, as this drop is getting closer and closer to that 5th base position. We see another base going down in that middle west position from SlayerS.KDY, but this drop, will it be able to take down these spine crawlers and do enough damage?
Here we go. We do have these spine crawlers attacking away, but those medevacs are healing so well. Corruptor's moving in to take those out. Those units are still going to be able to do a little bit of damage before they go down.
Yeah.
More spine crawlers getting thrown down in the meantime, and that Ultralisk will be able to take them out. But this drop over in the main is, those units are still just sitting there, waiting at this point. Just kind of chilling. I think SpiderDS has so much going on right now that he's trying to keep up with everything, and it's so tough to do. I mean, at this point, KDY might be able to just drain his opponent of resources. He is spread absolutely everywhere. His creep spread is denying every other possible base except for those island bases, which have creep on them anyway.
And one thing about those island bases is that they're very, very easily siegeable by Broodlords, right? So not the safest option. And something else that we should bring up is the bank of both of these players. We see that although the turn player does have a sizable bank, SlayerS.KDY has a much larger one for the moment.
Yeah, I love this Viking patrol that he has going on. He's able to kind of keep track of what's going on between both of those pathways as far as vision is concerned, but also if any Broodlords start to move in, or if anything starts to move in that front, he'll be able to deal with it. But here come Corruptors. They are going to find all these Vikings waiting for them. Fungal's going down on a few of those, but Corruptors stacking very nicely so that it's very difficult to target fire them. In fact, all these Vikings should go down in a matter of moments.
Yeah, and no Thoros to deal with those clumped Corruptors. Broodlords doing tons of damage for the time being. Marines not quite able to stim fast enough and get under those Broodlords. So the Broodlords being very effective, although, look, we have a Thor here, some planetary fortresses really sieged up in position. I'm not sure if Slayers is going to be able to break it, but he's certainly giving it his all as his Broodlords continue to push forward.
Those Thors need to get into a position where they're not firing on those Broodlings and instead trying to fire up on clumped up units. There are a lot of Corruptors there, all clumped up, and Broodlords were as well, even more Broodlings moving in the meantime. But now sieging onto that main base takes out another tank, which means that these Broodlings are going to be even more uncontested, taking out absolutely everything. 198 to 140, Spider is just getting eaten alive. Yeah,
he certainly is, and this battle is so huge that I think it might be a little bit choppy on the stream. I apologize about that, but SpiderDS is not able to hold quite yet. So many tanks have fallen, the Thors have fallen, planetary fortresses are going down. He does have some Vikings, but there are still 22 Corruptors on the field to answer those Vikings.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to take those Vikings out in a matter of seconds. Even Infestors getting involved, taking out a ton of those Vikings. And this Broodlord count is so high right now. With Corruptors and Infestors trying to support them, he's going to be in a really nice position. But he only has, it looks like, 2 Infestors left. Let's check that Units tab. He has 5 Infestors on the field, and I don't know if that's going to be enough to support them from ground units. If units try to steam in. It's just a scary position all around.
With more Vikings being produced 3 at a time at the moment. This northern planetary fortress goes down as well. Some starports are vulnerable. Now the question is, will SlayerS.KDY go down towards the natural and the main, or will he go up to this other base? So it looks like he's heading north, going to take down this base as well.
And this is the last mining base of Spider. He's not expanded to those islands, which means this is his life. I think if this goes down, Spider's going to have to tap out. He doesn't have any sort of army to deal with the rest of what KDY has, and Broodling's absolutely eating this planetary fortress alive. It doesn't even matter if there's a repair, because those Broodlings are absolutely expendable.
Yeah, absolutely. The planetary fortress does fall, and SpiderDS down to 64 supply, whereas SlayerS.KDY is reinforced and is staying at an even 200. And there it is, the GG, SpiderDS not able to quite hold off the macro of SlayerS.KDY.
What a crazy game.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so impressed with that Zerg player. He dealt with most of those drops, left and right. Meanwhile, his opponent was able to keep up with all that aggression coming in from multiple different angles.
Yep. Just really, really intense play. So much going on. So much that we even had difficulty casting it all. Constant drops, constant run bys.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so I think if we have time for a commercial, I don't know if we're getting right into this game number 2. That was game 1, right?
Yes, that was game 1. We'll be back with game 2 between SlayerS.KDY and SpiderDS in just a moment, folks. Stick with us.
All right.